Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about Winter Storm Kade, including that severe weather that's going to be underneath it, and we're going to be re-updating you guys on that snowfall map as well at the end of this video. Now, before I get started with this video, though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends and family, especially if they live in the impacted regions. Let's get right into things. Alright, so first things first, we're looking at our current hazards. You can see all sorts of purples, blues, pinks. The pinks there for the Northwest, and then into the Rockies, and then into Texas, New Mexico, and Oklahoma are all winter storm warnings there. You can see we have those popping up for Texas and Oklahoma. Then we also have winter storm watches there in those blue areas, and it's hard to tell the difference between the purple and the blue areas, but there is a purple area if you look very closely, and that's going to be your winter weather advisories. Let's get right into your simulated radar, which is what we're going to get into most of this video. Obviously, that's how these typically go, and we're going to be looking at our R-GEM model once again. I think it's been doing an excellent job this year, and it's been doing excellent for years and years and years, actually. Matter of fact, it's my favorite model of them all. And you can see this is going to be by this morning time, so this is actually probably right about as I'm recording this video, maybe a little bit in the past as this video gets out. We can see those thunderstorms for Oklahoma, Arkansas, and through Kentucky and Tennessee. We only have a marginal risk for severe weather today. We thought it would be a slight or an enhanced, but it's really looked a lot more diminished. But tomorrow and then into Wednesday is looking actually a lot more intense than today is. We do have some snowfall going on for Colorado, New Mexico, and a little bit of Texas and Kansas as well, but that's not our main area of snow quite yet. We're about to move on where we're going to start to see that heavier snow move in, and that's going to be our our real storm here, developing Winter Storm Kade, and the main area of snowfall will start to move into New Mexico and Texas. And this is going to be by about this afternoon. You can see those deeper blues popping up there for New Mexico and in through Texas. There were some snow showers up there in Kansas and Missouri, but the most of the snow and the heaviest snow, as you can see, is going to be down there for New Mexico and Texas by this point. And that's again this afternoon, Tuesday, February 4th. Let's move on to about, I would say about 11 p.m. tonight, Tuesday, February 5th, or February 4th, sorry. And we see it's kind of dipping down, and we're not seeing quite as much of that heavy snow, but that's really going to start to fill in. We see snow showers up and down New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and through Missouri and Illinois, and that's really going to begin to fill out. And that's how we see a lot of these snowstorms start. They really need to build up and intensify that snowfall. Let's move on towards the morning hours, and sure enough, by 4 a.m. here on Wednesday, February 5th, you can see it does go ahead and intensify, and very intense it does become, because we see those almost purple colors there for Texas and Oklahoma, and I was showing this the other day, but we do have extremely heavy snowfall expected for areas in northern Texas up through into Oklahoma City, and that's going to lead to the heaviest amounts of snowfall totals of the entire storm there. And we're about to move on to where we're going to see that heavier snowfall move a little bit north and a little bit east as well. We're going to start to see that expand up and through Kansas and Missouri as well. Very, very exciting stuff here for Winter Storm Kade. And this is going to be by about 8 a.m. on Wednesday, February 5th, and we see the moderate to heavy snowfall going on through Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri. All of these areas are experiencing moderate snowfall, at least heavier snowfall pockets within there, obviously. So tonight through tomorrow, obviously, we're going to start picking up, and that's why I needed to make this update, because, well, it's kind of my last chance before the snowfall starts. We do see some thunderstorm activity, maybe for northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, throughout Tennessee and Arkansas, but then especially coastal Texas, I think, north of Houston, we could have some very heavy rainfall going on, and maybe some thunderstorms within there as well. Let's move on a frame, and we're going to go ahead and stretch it out so we can see further into the east coast there. And this is going to be by tomorrow evening or afternoon, I would say maybe 4 p.m. So right in between there, late afternoon, early evening. And we see that snowfall still going on for Texas, Oklahoma, and then up through into Kansas and Missouri, and starting to get into Illinois as well. But we see that thunderstorm activity there for Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. And this still isn't going to be where we're seeing those peak severe weather conditions for sure. Let's move on towards later that evening. So this is going to be by about, I would say this is by about 8 p.m. maybe a little bit earlier, maybe by 6 p.m. And you can see we still have that snowfall going on for Oklahoma. It's starting to wrap up for Texas, but Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana. But those thunderstorms are really picking up, and that's where we expect a slight risk to maybe even enhanced. I don't think we will pick up an enhanced risk, but it's possible. And that's looking like supercells possibly, so we could have some tornadic activity around the area of the Deep South tomorrow. So areas like Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and then the panhandle of Florida specifically, and maybe even up and through Tennessee is going to be the biggest severe weather risk tomorrow. I am expecting to go live for this severe weather event tomorrow. It just depends on how things are looking, if they're looking worse or better. I was expecting to go live today, but it wasn't looking as bad, so that's why I ended up not doing that. But snowfall is up into Illinois and Indiana, and even a little bit of Ohio by this point. We're about to move on towards about 12 a.m. on Thursday, early Thursday morning, obviously, February 6th, and things are going to start to get very, very interesting as we move forward. All right, and here is our look at about 12 a.m. Thursday morning, and you can see the snow is really tapered off down there for Texas, but Oklahoma's still going pretty strong in through Missouri, Illinois being taken over by it, Indiana, northern Ohio, and it's starting to creep in to Pennsylvania and New York State as well. That's going to quickly switch over to freezing rain and sleet, I believe. We're going to have these long-lived thunderstorms still going on, crossing over into the Georgia border, and this reminds me of that mid-January event. We had a lot of thunderstorms out there for Alabama that moved into Tennessee, the Chattanooga area, and then in through the Georgia border, and that looks to be the case on Wednesday heading into Thursday as well. As we move forward here towards the morning hours, this is going to be by about 7 a.m., you can see that snowfall is really tapering off for the very western sectors of this storm. We see Chicago still getting some, and Detroit as well as areas in very northwestern Ohio, but the snow is really starting to be more for upstate New York and then New England by this point. I'm expecting tomorrow morning I'm going to go ahead and make you guys a snowfall map for the New England portion of this snowfall map that I'm going to have at the end of this video. I haven't given you guys that yet in this video. I'm still waiting because the models are still moving around, but tomorrow we're going to go ahead and give you guys that snowfall outlook for New England for Winter Storm Kade. But notice those thunderstorms there for Louisiana still there for Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and up through North Carolina as well. We all have a slight risk for day 3, which is going to be Thursday. All of these areas up and down the southeast coast there. Let's move on here to about Thursday evening, and we're going to switch over to our NAM 3KM model. This model is not as accurate, especially with temperatures and then the intensity of precipitation. It overdoes the intensity, and it has warmer solutions a lot of the time, and that's usually something that we look into with the NAM 3KM model, but the RGEM does not go out this far, so I had to switch. We are going to look to have a line of thunderstorms moving through that southeast coast by Thursday evening. As you can see, areas in Virginia, the Delmarva, all getting thunderstorms by this point, and then snow for New England up there. We also have some pretty hefty thunderstorms going on for South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida by this point as well. Let's move on a little bit later that evening, and this is going to be by about 6 p.m. on Thursday. And you can see southeast Virginia, central North Carolina, down through South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, still getting those pretty bad thunderstorms. We might have to go live 2 days in a row. We might have to do Wednesday and Thursday live stream. We're going to have to wait and see how that goes. And then we have to switch to our even lower resolution NAM model, which is the NAM 3KM. And we see that secondary snowstorm start to develop. This was a different winter storm that I've been eyeballing that I talked about in yesterday's video that's going to be popping up after our first storm, and this is going to possibly bring some snowfall to the interior regions of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. So this is by Friday morning, very, very early, maybe about 5 a.m. Let's move on to that evening on Friday, February 7th, and you can see we have another winter storm that's going up the East Coast, bringing snowfall to the New England states and the interior Northeast. And we're going to have to just wait and track this one because obviously it can move around quite a bit. But that's going to be our next storm we're tracking coming up in just a couple days. Very, very interesting stuff there. Now we're about to get into our official snowfall forecast, which is going to be very exciting to show you guys for Winter Storm Kade. Let's get right into it. We're expecting a dusting to 3 inches of snow throughout this entire white region here, New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, up through into Illinois, portions of Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. This has moved a bit north, specifically on the very northern end of this storm. We've moved it quite a bit north. And as we add another layer here, you can see we are expecting a mountain snowfall region out to the west where it's going to be highly elevation based, and it's going to be too hard to draw a map out for those regions. But we are expecting quite a bit of snowfall, specifically for high elevation areas where people don't really live out there in that blue region. We also have an area to the east, which again, I'm going to be giving you guys a snowfall forecast for this region tomorrow, which is going to be the 7th and beyond. We're going to be dealing with some snow, so it's going to be a very messy situation where we're going to have to talk about that probably starting tomorrow. Now let's add our 3 to 6 inch region. You can see it just extends all the way through the entire snowstorm's expected snowfall region, which was not the case yesterday. Yesterday we had 2 smaller regions of 3 to 6 inches expected. We've gone ahead and updated this and just made it one very elongated extended region, and we still have that very small 6 to 10 inch region expected on the northern regions of Texas and up through into areas like Oklahoma City. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends and family, and I will see you guys in the next video.